Hello everyone! We're coming back today with Mania Training Phase 6. I did a guide for Phase 5 in the past, so I thought it'd be nice, to do, that's really loud, to do a video for Phase 6. So you can see I've cleared everything here. And we'll just hop right into it. So we're gonna start from the very beginning for you guys. So the first 3 waves, right, have a 10-minute time limit. This is quite sufficient if, you have a full team of like everyone's at level 80, they've got like a couple of skills leveled up. This is quite sufficient, but this season there are things called hidden buffs. So you don't collect the buffs by selecting them. So if I, for example, stop this, right? So at the start of each wave, you get to pick a buff, right? So if I start that. So what happens with hidden buffs is that instead of picking them from the menu, you unlock them when you meet certain criteria, right? So waves 1 to 3 have a hidden criteria, which is that if you complete 1 to 3 in under 5 minutes, all your units will get a 50% attack speed buff. Yes, 50% attack speed buff for the next wave. So from waves 4 to 9, all units will have, with no other conditions, 50% attack speed buff. This is super valuable, and if you're struggling in the later stages to wave clear, I would highly advise trying to rush stages 1 to 3. So, trying to pick like damage-based the buffs early on to try and get that hidden buff. There's going to be a full list of all the possible buffs you can get, all the hidden buffs in the video's description on the sin.gg website. That link should also go to a guide that I wrote for sin.gg. They were very generous. They gave me the opportunity to write a guide for the site and showcase it there. I'm very grateful, and this video is kind of part of that. So you can see all, step-by-step text breakdown on the site, and you can see all the possible buffs you can get, what combinations you can get per wave, what the hidden buffs are, and the conditions, everything. There's also character recommendations, kind of like Prime Brand equips as well for some of them, what you can get, my thoughts on certain characters, and all that good stuff, right? So if you're struggling with Mania Training, check that out, and I hope it helps you, and we're gonna start. So the main mechanic of this season of Mania Training is this brilliant candlestick. Right, we're gonna plop that here for this phase. Now what that does is, once activated, it illuminates one grid within its cross area, right? And stops mobs from passing through it. Now what that does in practice is you can block off, right, a certain side and cause all mobs to funnel through only one side. Or you can use that to control the direction of the bosses. Now, another kind of hidden feature here, it says the unit on that grid that it's illuminated takes a small amount of damage per second. That is a lie. That's a lie. It is not a small amount of damage. It is so much damage. You will see it in stages 6 and 9, which is the strat I'm going to use to kill the boss. I'm going to show you guys in a bit. That's a lie. It is not a small amount of damage. It is a lot of damage. If this was a sinner, that sinner would be broken. Alright? So it's a lot of damage. So what are we going to do? If you have Shalom, the premier #1 option for Mania Training, Shalom. She comes with AoE, Waveclear, AoE, 2 Cold Break. She's fantastic, tons of damage. If you have her on S3, she can shred as well. So if you have Shalom, I would highly recommend giving her Inversion Slash for extra energy to give her lots and lots of breaks. If you don't have Shalom, right, you have to use, Deren, or even like, 11, and so on, right? What else? Not Labyrinth. Labyrinth is a different case. Maybe even McQueen or something. I would strongly recommend giving your main core break unit Inversion Slash, if you have it, to give them enough energy, because there are so many cores to deal with this season. Now you might be asking, okay, why would you not just use Labyrinth in a stage with lots of cores? True, Labyrinth's ultimate will reset if she breaks an enemy's core. She places an enemy in the core break, right? The problem is she's really fragile, and I find that waves 1 to 3, the design of the map is kind of not that good for her. Because if you have to core break enemies, you are most likely in a position where she takes a lot of damage. Like a single hit does a lot of damage from enemies. So I would recommend her maybe in like wave 7, 8, 9. You know, there. Early on, it's kind of easy for her to die by accident, so I would like maybe reserve her for later. That'll help. You could still use her from the first wave, it's just maybe a little trickier. Now, Premier Mania Training Healer is always Hamel, you know, just after a minute and 30 seconds, heals everything in like the entire universe, lots of healing. Just bring a proper, you know, final prologue, just lots and lots of heal, and you're good. Nothing's fancy to talk about there. Other options, do Raw very strong because revive. Usually in Mania Training, if your sinners go down, right, there's no way to bring them back. They're gonna stay dead. That doesn't happen with Duro. You can get them back. So Duro is really good. I would advise running one. If you want your run to be really comfortable, run one pure healer like Hamel or Ariel, and then run one DPS healer. Does that make sense? Like, let's say Cab, right? Instead of Duro, let's say you could run Cab, buff the whole team, comes with core breaks, clutch healing. Coco, no, true damage on her normal attacks. Good healing, really good personal buff on Coco as well this season. So Coco's, you know, as we always say, 含金量还在增加. And Eve has a personal buff where she heals other sinners, so you can consider using Eve here, but that does mean you will have to aim for her buff. But even without it, she's still pretty good because she brings good Waveclear, and she has a Endura, quote unquote Endura summon unit, so she's good as well. Underrated features, Lisa. Lisa's really strong here because of the crowd control, and with her ECB, she causes enemies to take additional damage. Alright, up to 15% additional damage is really good. If you bring Lisa, take Paradise Regain to make up for the fact she has no core breaks, because she doesn't really need anything else. Right, so you can bring Lisa as well for your other support unit. I like Duro because it kind of saves me from having skill issues. If you're going to bring Duro, you could also bring Coco, for example, because Duro has very strong personal healing output, so you can consider her as like the quote-unquote pure healer, even as S0. But I like this. This is very comfortable, so I'm going to bring this. But those other combinations, totally doable, really strong units, I've tested them. What else to bring? You could bring, if you have no Shalom, you could bring Deren for core breaks. She's okay this season on this map, not any super weird shapes, not a lot of places you can't stand on, so she's not bad. But you know, Shalom's range and good AoE Waveclear, so we still prefer Shalom if you have her, right? Yao and Burn team, I wouldn't super recommend this season because Yao, if you don't have dual Raw, you're effectively permanently sacrificing another sinner for Yao to use her ultimate. Right, and she's melee range. She has to get close to enemies to hit them, which is kind of a problem because, like I said, enemies do quite a bit of damage in Mania Training, especially Hysterical. So I'm like, I didn't find Burn Team super comfortable to use personally, so I don't think I will be recommending it for new players here. Another really great option for long range Waveclear, Langley, Lady Pearl. You have any three of these, bring them. You have all three of these, bring all of them. Okay? I'm gonna bring, let's not bring Langley, right? Let's bring some more recent characters, Pearl and Pearl Shalom, right? Enduras. So Enduras, my number one suggestion is to bring Countess Chelsea, right? And that's because of how her summon works. So if you were watching my season 5 video, you'll know I brought Chelsea for the same reason. She asks for ECB1. Right, so you have to give her ECB1 at least. Now what that does is that it makes Citri, her pet cat, stay on the battlefield. So normally it despawns after 20 seconds, right? But now Citri becomes a permanent spawn, so you can get her healed, you know, she can recover HP and all of that. And her ult now restores 40% of Citri's max HP. Okay? So what this means is that you can let Citri tank everything. Yeah? And then when C3 dies, you just resummon another one at full health immediately. Yeah, you can just do it. That's how OP it is. I know that sounds crazy, but that's really how OP it is. So you can just do that, which is wild. So that's an option there as well. What else? Other Enduras you could bring. Ovo is a very common pick. Rahu, I know, has been used to clear as well. Rahu kind of wants her personal buff this season, so if you pick Rahu, you kind of have to commit into getting her personal buff. Otherwise, she's just shy of not tanky enough. So I think that's kind of one small issue with her. Ovo brings lots of core breaks. Her buffs are really, really good. Gives her extra, core breaks and all that. She's just she could be a little tricky to use, especially for new players, I would say. But she's still, she's Ovo. She's strong. Gives good buffs to the whole team. Whichever Endura you use, I advise giving them City of Sins and Rift Palace if you have it, because this is effectively a 15% HP bonus, and it makes the enemies that hit your Endura reduce damage output by 12%. This together is all really strong. I would highly recommend that you run this set. If you really don't have it, run the normal tank set and prepare to invest. Bring 2 healers to make it comfortable, and then prepare to invest a lot into defensive buffs. Demon as well has a really good buff this season, so you can grab Demon if you have him, or Vanilla. Vanilla has kind of the same issue as Rahu. They do more damage in Waveclear, and Vanilla comes with core breaks, which is nice. But without their buff, it can be a little hard for them to survive. So you should aim to get her buff as well. Bring 2 healers, that kind of thing. But yeah, those are your options. Chelsea's the A rank there, so I would recommend bringing Chelsea. And if you have her, as what I feel is the most accessible and the best option here. Right? So, put down the device, the Brilliant Candlestick, get your Sinners. Let's see, who are we going to bring for the last one? Lots to choose from. Hakate and Che can work as well for core breaks. We can bring Nox. Nox is very strong for Waveclear, but I feel if you're going to bring Nox, you have to commit to trying to get her personal buff, which is insanely strong. It's so crazily strong. But you have to commit to getting it. So I personally would have the same approach as Labyrinth. I would try to roll for Nox's buff, and if I get it, then I would slot her in at a later stage, right? Replace one of my units with her later on. So I wouldn't take her at the beginning. So let me show you the long, what we call the 手长 group, like the long arm, long range build, right? Okay, let's see. So you can now lock buff. So a locked buff is not gonna change when you refresh. You can helps you a little bit with your gachaing. It's kind of like a really weird arrangement. So you can see here, we might as well restart. So you can see here, right? These mobs have walked through. This is the normal pattern. Some mobs will walk up here, some will walk down here. Now what the Candlestick does, to restart real quick. That was a terrible standing pattern. That seems more appropriate. Alright. Okay. Let's gotcha again. So I'm gonna grab the HP and defense buff. HP and defense is quite good, Mania Training, overall. So now if you put the Candlestick here, it blocks off this path. And what that does is that it makes it so the enemies will be like, oh, I don't want to walk there anymore. So they'll detour and they'll all funnel down this side. And then it's a lot easier for you to deal with everything, you see? I'm gonna use Shalom to break a bunch of cores. Just clear everything out real quick. I've done single healer runs. It just makes it more comfortable to have 2 healers, I would say. That makes sense. But yeah, so we're just gonna clear out the waves best as you can over here. Okay, so now another point to note. Once this green 2-core guy comes out on wave 2, you will see this Ducky appear. And now, same as before in previous Mania trainings, killing the Ducky will give you an extra buff to pick. So you will have the same list in your next buff selection menu, but you get to pick 2 buffs instead of 1. Okay, so you get 1 more extra bonus from killing it. So it's you can literally ignore this guy, just let your Endura deal with it for a second, and just like go all in on beating up this Ducky. Like just beat the shit out of this guy, you know, just go ham. Just like punch the shit out of this duck. He's gonna like run in a circle for a bit, so don't be like too worried. And if you need to like move units around to keep them in range, feel free for lots of movement. Okay, got the Ducky, and now you deal with this guy. He explodes and does damage in AoE, so make sure your squishies can take 1 hit, but make sure like, you know, they're full health, you know, so you don't like lose them by accident. Let's see. I'll lock this one. See, you can see Demon's buff is actually really good this season as well. Here. Some of these buffs are generally not very good. But it's okay, we'll take it. So wave 3, the bosses are gonna start spawning. So what happens here is you will see Chill spawned here, started walking downwards because it's blocked. Coco's gonna walk out here because she spawns here, she's gonna walk straight across. Bai is about to spawn here, okay? And here's the trick that I use to make the third wave easier to deal with. So you see Bai spawns here. Now she is going, with the current setup, she's going to follow Chill and walk downwards because there's no way for her to walk through. So what instead you do is you change the candlestick. Path is open, so now her AI is like, oh, this is the shorter path. So she's gonna walk here instead. Now, here you can see each of the bosses have sanity loss at 10. So you can leak one of them, right? You leak one of them, and then it's fine. It's fine, you know, like you're not gonna die because you have 12 sanity here, right? And the reason we leak Bai Yi, you know, like you might be like, oh, why don't you like just leak the bottom row and keep the top row? Why make it so difficult? The reason is because Bai Yi, you can see attack A on Che, attack B on Coco, attack S on Bai Yi. Bai Yi does more damage. You know, it's harder to tank her for the fight. So we're gonna leak Bai Yi and let her walk through. Now, one thing to pay attention to is mobs spawn with her. You have to get rid of them or you're gonna lose too much sanity. So I usually just, you know, send a Shalom out there or something. Now you can see there, Citri just died, right? Because I wasn't paying attention. It's okay. We'll just resummon her with Countess Chelsea. No skin off our backs, right? We're gonna keep that healing up. And we're just gonna let Bai Yi leak, you know, bonk sanity. But yeah. Oh, we barely missed it. That's alright. So we're not gonna have the 50% attack speed buff, which, I mean, I feel like if you're watching a guide, it's likely you may struggle with that. So that's fine as well. We'll go with it. So we're not gonna have the hidden buff. But again, if you can roll for attack buffs, I strongly recommend it to try and get that, because it can indeed save runs for you. Okay, so now we're heading into the next set of stages over here. Move my sinners around a bit and all that. So we're gonna have Brilliant Candlestick over here. So we're gonna put it to block off sinners as before, and we're just gonna roll with it and see how it goes. Let's go for defense. It's not bad. Now wave 5, we'll get the Ducky in a bit. Lots of court mobs as well. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll deal with everything as they come one by one. Oh, there we go. So the Ducky has spawned here, as you can see, right? So we're gonna aim for that. We have to be a bit more cautious because like there's a lot happening here compared to before, right? So definitely be cautious to not like let your units just die to insane BS. I'm gonna move my Shalom away. Make sure she doesn't get caught there just in case. And we're just gonna take out the duck slowly. There we go. So we'll get one more buff to pick out of here. Okay, Dura Nox. Okay. So we're gonna pick these two. Dual Raw buff 1 if you have is very strong, even at S0. Just tons of healing. So much healing. Just so much extra healing, right? Because of the energy consumption reduced. And Nox is really strong. So I'll replace Nox in later and show you guys how that works. If you want to have a look at all the possible buffs you can get this season, I highly recommend the Sin.gg website. They've got the whole list over there. It's linked in the description. Should be, hopefully. Right, wave 6, so the boss is appearing. It's 11. My advice here is to just deal with all the mobs and all the cores and stuff. And don't worry too much about the boss for now. Then you can get on the business of hitting up the boss for real, for real. Okay, so we're gonna, Citri went down, we're gonna resummon her real quick. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move everyone as far back as we can, right? And then you're gonna see here, the boss has stepped right in front of this TV. Now what this means is that her hitbox is now in the range of this. So you can see that my characters have been hitting her for a while and they're like doing no damage. Watch how much damage this Candlestick does. It is insane. Like, it is wild how much damage. Just look at her health just going down. Like, what is that? That's this. That damage is not coming from my sinners, guys. Like, let's be for real. You know, they highly understated how much damage this Candlestick does. So it doesn't even matter, like, if you don't have a lot of boss damage, the Candlestick is gonna do so much damage. Like, look at the chunks just going down. That's from the Candlestick, like, those chunks. It's insane. So all you have to do is survive. Just keep popping heals on your tank. You know, try to break the core if you can. It's okay if you can't. Make sure your units survive. The Candlestick will do the damage for you. Okay, so we're gonna save the latest record because we have the Nox buff. Now, who would I replace here? Lady Pearl's really strong here, and I don't have Langley's buff, so I'm gonna replace Langley here with Nox. So if you're gonna use Nox's buff, I highly recommend, again, bringing Prisoner of the Deep, because it makes your ult unusable, but that's what Nox's buff does as well, so it doesn't matter. And she benefits from normal attack damage and the attack speed. So it's really good if you're planning to aim for that, the set. So we're gonna block off this top route as before. Swing, swing. Look at that. Look at the damage of Skull. Well, to be fair, Shalom hasn't gotten to attack for a while, but still. You know, great damage coming out from Nox because of the buff. So strong recommend, especially for new players who are likely to have her. Really, really good in Mania training, but you gotta commit to aiming for her buff. Just cheese it, put lots and lots of heals, kind of move your squishy units away from the front line as best as you can. And yeah. Hamel's is not bad if you've got her. For each different class, the entire team gets 4%. So we've got Catalyst, Reticle, we've got Endura, and we've got Fury, right? So that's a 16, hard math. 16% attack boost and energy recovery speed. It's not bad, right? This as well. When allied sinners HP falls below 20%, they recover 100% of max HP and gain amount. This is like a panic button. Like, oh, I up, you know. You get this, right? So let's roll and see what else we can get. So Labyrinth and McQueen are really good here. And again, Shalom's core break gets energy back buff. This one. Really good. You can just see why. Exactly why it's so recommended here. Okay, I'm gonna gently move Nox back because the boss has spawned. Right, it's 11 Phantom. Boss has spawned. Just gonna move the boss back real quick. Chuck down like 9 million Shalom ults in an effort to, you know, not perish. Oh, Nox went down. That's okay. That's what Duro is for. I think that was my own mistake actually. I don't think she went down to damage. Now skin off our backs. Open ults, you know. Just try to keep Citri and Chelsea alive as the main thing. Slowly move everyone back. Again, moving everyone down towards the back line. And then we can finally start working on the boss. So we're gonna have the same strat as before, right? We're gonna get okay, let's get rid of this guy first. So we're gonna get 11 to walk one more step forwards. And then what we're gonna achieve that this time is move Citri down here. And then put her back before she dies. Put her back, and then you'll see now the hitbox overlaps. And we're gonna just chuck that there. And we are going to go to town. Now, this 11 has one extra mechanic that you have to pay attention to, because it could ruin your entire run if you're not careful. CB for now to see if I can get one more. There it is, there it is. You see this purple tile? So beneath one of your sinners, right, 11's going to spawn this purple thing here, and it's gonna, if you haven't played BFL you may not know, but what it's gonna do is gonna punch a hand out. And any sinner who's on that tile or unit is gonna instantly die. In one hit, it doesn't matter how much HP they have, they will instantly die. This can end your whole run, so be very careful when you see this. Move it away and keep a 2 core break for it. Okay, keep something that can break 2 cores, or prepare to move all your sinners away from this cross area. And I'm gonna show you how it comes out. Like that. Instantly kills whatever is on there. If you played BFL, Dark Zone, you may have seen it. So I don't even care that I can't get the core break on 11. That's okay. We're gonna core break this. Because that is actually a run ender. That thing can actually end your entire run. It's crazy. 11's going to take so much damage from this that it doesn't even matter if you can't core break, as long as you keep your units alive and you mine this hand. See how much damage it's doing to Citri? It's wild. This is the real run ender. Okay, so be very cautious of this thing when you're going through. You can see units just going down due to a mess, but we got it with the Candlestick at the very end. So again, for boss on stage 6 and 9, don't worry too much about trying to damage the boss. The Candlestick can do it for you. Focus on keeping our units alive. Focus on dealing with all the mobs and elites. And on stage 9, be very careful not to die to the purple hand thing. Alright? Okay, so again, we're gonna have a full text guide up on sin.gg. Gonna edit this. Hopefully it's gonna be coherent. But yeah, I hope you guys have a very good run on Hysterical. You know, wishing you guys a good run. And wishing you all the best for your clears, and I will see you super soon next time. Bye bye!